If you search for this video on purpose, then you probably know about Traska, and you probably also know that they recently restocked the Commuter, or are going to restock. I don't know the date on that one, but this is not the new one. This is the previous Commuter that was released at the end of 2024 in the steel blue colorway in 36 millimeters. So what changed? Well, they changed the crystal and they changed the lume, but the case, the bracelet, the dial, the indices, the hands, all of that are the same, which is really convenient for me because I have spent the past 6 months wearing my personal Commuter on my commutes. I've worn it in the mountains, hiking, it's played tennis, it's been in the water, it has literally been all over the place. So that scratch resistant coating, I've had enough time to figure out if it's real and it works. It might be a treatment or a coating, can't get a clear answer on that one, but regardless, scratch resistance, does it work? Comfort, how is the comfort? Because this is a really thin watch, and it also has a unique bracelet. How is the accuracy? How do I like it? I mean, at the end of the day, you're looking to spend X amount of dollars on a watch. You want to know if it's good, or if you should go for something like a Seiko, which is not a micro brand. Let's just break this down. Now, this watch and the new one that were just released have that updated end link lug finishing that they talk about on their website. It's really good. If you just look kind of like the real world, right? You're taking a peek at the watch on your wrist. You can see the fitment between the lugs and the end links is really, really tight. And on a watch that's more affordable, a lot of them don't focus too much on that. And for me, I really do like the fitment and the precision of a case. I think that a lot of attention goes into dials and a lot less attention goes into the case and the fitments, which Traska, good job. When picking a watch, they look very different in the studio versus on your wrist in the real world. So this is gonna have a lot of wrist rolls that I have taken in my day-to-day life, because that gives you a more realistic view of how the watch looks. And I'm just gonna get up and show you the watch. I have a 6.75 inch wrist, and this is the 36 millimeter color, or case, my bad. Now this is a flat watch. So the lugs are very flat, they're not super curved, which makes the 36 wear a little bit larger. So if you're between the 36 and the 38, I would highly recommend sizing down, because the 36 does not wear that small, as you can see. It wears quite good. The low profile nature of that slim case is really noticeable on wrist. It is very elegant. It is very easy to fit under a cuff. So if you're wearing a dress shirt and you have that button done up, it can be annoying when your watch catches on the shirt. Same thing with a hoodie or anything that has kind of an elastic, I don't know what you call it, cuff. This is very easy to slip under, partially thanks to the shape of the case and that domed crystal. Now, you might have heard about Traska having a special bracelet, fully articulating links. What does that mean? I have a Henry Archer here, and I'm gonna show you the difference. So, on the Henry Archer, when you look at this, the edge link and the center link are connected. So when I flex the links, they do not collapse in on themselves to a degree, because this is all one link from edge to center. Now on the Traska, these edge links and these center links move independently of each other. So when you drop the Traska, the links actually can stack in on themselves. That makes the watch a little bit more, I'd say, flexible. And when it drapes over your wrist, it just has more drape. That's kind of the best word to say it. Now, the other area with the bracelet that leads to comfort is the thickness of the bracelet. Now you can see the Traska on the left. These links are much thinner than the Henry Archer. Now, That makes it much more low profile on your wrist when you're wearing it, having a thinner link, and it's just more comfortable. Nothing against the Henry Archer, but these are some chunky links. And if you aren't gonna use your watch to dangle from the ceiling, you might not need all that thickness. I really like the bracelet, but a slight chamfer or bevel on the inner edge of the links would make it wear a little bit softer. And that is the same for the inner edge of the clasp along here and on the inside. It has an edge. It's not a sharp edge, but you feel it, especially when pulling the watch on and off your hand. It catches a little bit, and that is something that I don't love. I don't hate it. And once it's on the wrist, you don't know, it feels great. It is my most comfortable watch, but that could maybe be improved. Let's move down the bracelet to the clasp. After 6 months, no scratches on the clasp. If you wear a watch, you know that the clasp is like usually abused. I mean, desks, tables, clunking it on things. My clasps are all super scratched up, and this has nothing. It actually freaks me out because I'm so used to having those scratches. I'm like, okay, come on, give me at least one. Now, the other cool thing about the clasp is it's not super rattly. Some micro brand clasps are very rattly, very jingly, and that is a peeve of mine because as much as I like noise, that kind of noise just gets on my nerves. But speaking of noise, this watch is not a quiet one. If I flick my wrist, you can hear that Miyota 9 series free spinning. So with the rotor that winds the watch on this particular movement, one direction winds it and one direction is a free spin. And if you have a louder bearing in your movement and it's free spinning, you're gonna hear it. On a watch like the Henry Archer, the case is thicker and the sapphire is thicker, and you have sapphire on the back. Those are insulators. So the noise, although you can still hear it, is a little bit quieter. But on the Traska, since they made it really thin and lightweight, and that case back is not sapphire, those don't isolate the sound as much and keep it in the case. So if your movement is louder, you will hear it. I enjoy the sound, but if you are sensitive to that, just note that you might get a quieter one than mine. Mine is on the louder end of the spectrum. And if you don't have like mouse ears, you probably might not be too sensitive to it either. But if you are, and you're like, oh, I would not like that, then be warned, you might not like it. Now, I am a simple guy. I'm wearing a plain white t-shirt and light gray pants. And I do like simple things, which brought me to the Commuter because it is arguably a very simple watch, may or may not be heavily inspired by the Oyster Perpetual, but we won't go there because at the end of the day, they have done things that Traska has chosen to do. They haven't just copied and pasted the design, which I think inspiration is okay. But if you have a different opinion, you can comment down below and say, no, it's a copy of the Oyster Perpetual, and that's unacceptable. But I can't afford an Oyster Perpetual. So this is a perpetual argument, which we're not going to start. Now, the dial here, steel blue, I really like it. Very dynamic color. Goes a little bit gray, then lightens up to be a lighter blue. In the sunlight, that enamel almost looks metallic. Very subtle, but it adds depth. And I like dials that have depth. Speaking of depth, though, I might suggest the indices be a little bit taller. The dial doesn't look flat, but it does walk a fine line with these indices. I just think maybe a little bit taller of an indice could do the dial a little bit of justice. But with that said, it's timeless. But Traska, I think an applied logo would look really good because although the watch is simple and understated, you don't want it to be boring. And I don't think it's boring. So this isn't a critique, but I don't know what you guys think. An applied logo would give it a little bit of something. Okay, so you have money burning a hole in your pocket and you want to watch. This may be your first or it may be your 10th. I don't know. But should you go for the Traska? Should you throw out the Traska idea and go for a Seiko or something that's a big company, a Citizen? What should you do? Well, I would roll the dice and get the Traska. There's not much of a roll for you to make anymore because when I bought this watch, I didn't know what the steel blue color looked like other than the website pictures, which made it a big question mark. So hopefully I've showed you what that color looks like in real world conditions, in sunlight, and the 36 versus 38 decision on the case size, that was a nightmare. I was going back and forth for like at least 2 weeks, trying to look at pictures online, how big is it? Now I know. Flat watches with flat lugs and cases wear a little bit bigger. I've tested the scratch resistance. This one, it's legit. It's legit. If you like scratches though, you're gonna hate the watch because the damn thing doesn't get scratched. So the last question is, do you like how it looks? Because you're gonna have to look at the dang thing all the time when you wear it. And if you don't like how it looks, then you're crazy strapping this thing onto your arm. But if you like how it looks, and you're looking for something that's very dynamic and elegant and just cool, you're gonna like it. So I don't think I should say any more than that. If you liked the video, this is my first watch video, please subscribe and comment or like or whatever you feel like doing. I have a Henry Archer Westerhoff that you did see in this video. I have a Christopher Ward, and I'd love to talk about those watches with you. It helps to grow the channel a little bit and helps me out too if you engage. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have the best of luck on your endeavors. I have no idea how to end this video. Thanks.